What I'd like to do for this practice is we're going to add a couple of pages so we can talk about how to create a navigation bar and link our different pages. So I have my home page already opened up. And if you look over here in the code, I have a little bit of red up at the top. And if I hover over it, says it's because doc type must be declared. Now there's nothing wrong really with how we wrote this HTML, but I want to show you if we create a new page through Dreamweaver, how the HTML at the top looks a little bit different. So I said in the interface video that I never want you to create a new file by going up to File, New. No, no, please don't do that. The way we're going to do it is from the Files panel. I know it sounded like I'm scolding you. Sorry, I don't mean to sound like I'm scolding you, but just we're not going to ever create our files from going up to File, New. You're going to go over to the Files panel and you're going to right click on your folder that says Site, and you're going to click on the choice New File. All right, so I guess just first let's name this and then I'll explain why. So our goal here is we're going to create two pages, one for catering, one for location hours, and then for homework, you're going to add two more pages and add those links onto the navigation bars for everything, and they can be whatever you want them to be. So I'm going to call this page catering, and I'm leaving the .html. So if you already clicked out and you need to get back in, just do a slow double click here and that'll allow you to edit, or you can right click and go under Edit, Rename, or use the keyboard shortcut F2 to rename. Okay, so why did I want you to create the new file here and not going up here? You can just watch, don't do this. If I do File, New, and it's going to ask me what kind of file do I want in HTML, and yes, I want it to be HTML5, and I'm going to hit Create. Do you notice nothing shows up here? This is just a blank document, and it's like a file, it's a new file, and the thing is I have to then make sure that I go to File, Save As, and I save it in this folder. For website to work, everything has to be in the same folder. So the best way to make sure that things are in the same folder is to create them directly here in our files panel, and allows me to create files directly in this folder. So if I go to my folders now, and let's see, sorry, where did I go? To my web art design folder, I go into Black Goose, catering's there. It's empty, there's nothing in it because I haven't done anything, but it's already there. So this is why I want you to create your new files from the files panel, so it automatically makes sure that you are creating them and saving them all the time in the right spot in our root folder, or the site folder, Black Goose. Okay, so let's create another one. At this point, I could right click on either of my HTML files or the site file, and either way, and I click on it and I get that interface. This is new file, and I'm going to call this one location and hours, and I don't want to have a space. You never want to have any spaces or any special odd characters in the name of your HTML file, so I will just put them all together without spaces. Okay, so now I've created my three different pages. Let's go back to this error here that I have at the top. Let's open one of the pages that Dreamweaver created. I'm going to open it by double clicking right here, and it just switches. Now that's what I'm seeing here, and notice my other ones are home is still here. I can just get switched to them by going through the tabs. And the one thing that we didn't have in ours is this top line. And I'm going to copy that. This is telling the browser that we're using HTML5. So that's the one thing that we were missing in ours. And I'm going to paste it in at the top and bring this down to another line. And now that red error is missing. Okay, so we have these three different pages. If you haven't opened location and hours up, let's open that up as well. And you can see some of the things. So when you create a new file in Dreamweaver, it gives you right from the get-go. So it has this line up here which says we're using HTML5. It gave us our opening and closing HTML tags. It gave us an opening head tag and a closing head tag. It gave us this, the meta, which you can skip for right now. We don't have to worry about this. It gives us the title tag, and it says untitled document. That's always a bad sign if that shows up in a browser. You want to always make sure you change this to say the name of whatever page you're on. So this is going to say location and hours. And then it gives us an opening and closing body tag. So it gives us that structure that I had you set up right in the beginning from on your Black Goose when we were over in Notepad. So let's go over to catering, and I'm just going to change this untitled document here to say catering. So again, this is what's going to show up in the tab. Okay, I can see that, sorry, this was a page I need to just close out. I can see that this page and this page, actually all of my pages have unsaved changes because they have the asterisks. So I can go up to File, Save All, if I want to change them all, or save them all, sorry, at the same time. So what I want is to create a navigation bar. Now, if this was in the classroom, normally we have a discussion about where that navigation bar should be. Some people say all the way at the top. Some people say right after Black Goose Restaurant. So, you know, we can, I'm just going to put it somewhere, and then you guys can put it, you're welcome to put it in a different spot. And we're going to do two things. I'm going to type into the design view so you can see how that shows up in code, and then I'll also type in the code so we can see how it shows up in the design view. So I think I'm going to put it underneath. I don't exactly want it to show up. See, if I click here, that's going to put it in my restaurant H2 tag, and I don't want that. So I'm going to do this in the code view. I'm going to go to my line 8 where it says horizontal rule and come down a line. So I need to type in for my navigation, it should say home, and I'm going to do one space only. And I want to create that vertical line. If you look on your keyboard, on the right hand side, right underneath the backspace is the vertical line. You get the vertical line by holding down Shift and then the backslash key, and that gives us our vertical line. So, and then another space, and then I'm going to type in catering, and I'm going to do the same thing and do location and hours. All right, if I click over here into my design view, it appears. I can see it up here. Now, I had said before I want all of your text to have tags around it. So there is a tag that we could use that is the nav tag, and that is for navigation. And notice I put the, so I have by default, when you put an opening tag, Dreamweaver will automatically put the closing tag for you, which can be useful, also can be annoying. You can go into your properties to get rid of that. I'm going to delete that there, and I'm going to put the closing at the end of my navigation. And it gave me a little red here because I didn't fully close it. Okay, so now this has a tag around it as well. So I want my pages to all be pretty consistent. So I'm going to do at this point a decent amount of copying and pasting and cutting things out. So I'm going to take everything that is inside my body tag, going inside the body tag. I'm not taking the body tag, and I'm going to copy it, go over to catering, go in between my body tag, paste it. I'll do Control S to save, go over to location, do the same thing, and Control S to save. Click over to design view and everything shows up. Now I don't actually want on each page to have all the same stuff here. So now I'm going to go back to home, and I'm going to only keep the things that were here under this top part where it says the restaurant. Everything else I'm going to delete, but I'm keeping my closing body tag. Okay, click over here. I can see the result. Save this page. Go to catering. Take out this. And down here. So I'm leaving my horizontal rule, the heading, and the navigation. Save it. And same thing here, leaving my navigation, taking out the restaurant and catering, and leaving everything else. Okay, so now when I go through my 3 pages, they should have a certain amount of similarity. I did get rid of my horizontal rule here. I'll put that back on. Okay, now how do we get the 3 of these guys to link? That's what I'm going to cover in the next video.